Hello, hello, and thank you for joining me. My name is Sabrina Rising. I'm a spiritual mentor and a psychic medium, and welcome to Oracle Hour. This is my favorite time of the week, Wednesday night at 5 p.m. Pacific, also Sunday nights at 5 p.m. Pacific now. We're doing Oracle Hour 2 nights a week. I love this broadcast. I love to talk to you about spirituality, about your personal development journey, about some of the topics that I deal with on a personal level and in my client sessions. So we usually start off this broadcast with a chat about a topic that's been coming through for me, a message for the collective, and then I will jump into live questions and do live on the spot readings for whoever is in the live chat with me. So we usually answer chats on a first come first serve basis. I have a moderator here who helps me, my trusted friend Lacey. So welcome Oracle Hour community. Hi everybody. Hi Rhonda. Hi Anne. Hi Laura. Wow. Hi, Elizabeth. Hi, Jennifer. Good to see you all. For those of you that are new here, don't be shy. Feel free to post your question in the chat, to prioritize your question, or you can just watch and hear if the message that I'm channeling for someone else, if you're here tonight, is also likely for you. And this happens every time I do this work, every time I answer questions or I hold a group broadcast or a group class like this. The messages that come through are usually for all of us. Okay, so if you're here and you just want to watch in silence, please do so. Please stay till the end because we always have some good things to look forward to, some good announcements at the end. So we are broadcasting live in 3 places. We are live on Facebook and on Instagram and on YouTube. If you're on Facebook and Instagram, you can see me, but I can't see you. So if you want to ask questions, if you want to ask the Oracle a question, or you want to find out what's happening with your spirit guides, your spirit team, your loved ones, what's in store for you, how you can make the most of the information that's coming through, what it is that you deeply desire, and perhaps you're stuck in some area of your life or you're struggling with something, anything you can possibly think of, you can ask, and I'd be happy to channel on your behalf. Okay, so don't be shy. Join us on YouTube at Sabrina Rising and put your question in the chat. Okay, so welcome everybody. All right. Hi, Elizabeth. Hi, Diane. Hello, Diane. Great. Okay, so for tonight, I want to talk about letting go of attachments. And this is, it's kind of a difficult subject because it takes some fine tuning to really understand what this means and how to apply it. Okay, so we talk about letting go of attachments, and not in a way, and it's important if you're paying attention to this, and if this is something that you're applying in your life, it's important to notice the subtle difference between, not taking personal responsibility. So just, abdicating that, the sense of personal responsibility versus actually doing what we need to do and then surrendering the how. Okay, so there's a very subtle distinction there that I want to clarify tonight. Now, letting go of attachments is so important, okay, especially if you're on a personal development journey, spiritual development journey, and you're learning this concept. You've already understood that attachment is the root of suffering. Okay, so when we hold on to something, we have a very specific idea of what we want. We want it to be a certain way. Perhaps you want that relationship, or you want this job, or you want this outcome, and we fixate because we believe that the thing that we want the most is going to bring us the feeling that we deeply desire. Okay, so we want what we want because of the way we think it's going to make us feel. Right. And so this is very, very normal. We have an idea, when this happens, I can feel this way. Or if that happens, then I can finally be happy, or I can finally be free, or I can finally be peaceful. Okay. So our attachments are things that we think we need in order to keep us safe, in order to bring us peace, in order to allow us to be fulfilled, to feel good about ourselves. Okay. And ultimately to feel secure, right? As I mentioned, to keep us safe. Most human beings do what we do because we deeply, on a fundamental level, have a deep need to feel safe in our lives. Okay. So, and this is so important. So when we talk about letting go of attachments, in spiritual community, that can get manipulated a little bit and be like, oh, well, I'm just letting it go. I'm letting it go. I'm letting it go. Letting it go doesn't mean that you don't show up. It doesn't mean that you're not responsible for the outcome. It doesn't mean that you're not responsible for your part in co-creating whatever it is that you're manifesting in your life. We, as energetic beings, we are all connected to spirit. We're all connected to source consciousness, and that consciousness is expressing itself through us in perfect ways. And it's our job as human beings to learn how to use this energy, right? To allow this energy to express itself through us in ways that serve our highest and best good. And we do that by following certain principles, especially if we're on a spiritual path. These principles are very important. Right. So personal responsibility is 100 is, where it starts, right? This is the beginning of the journey. Especially if you're living circumstances that don't feel good, if you're living a life that doesn't resonate for you, it's not making you happy, where you're suffering and there's a persistent complaint, it's your job to now look at what it is you can do to shift that. Okay. So this is very important. It's important for those of you that are coming for psychic readings and mediumship connections and want to hear from your spirit guides and want reassurance and want support. I'm happy to give predictions and offer what I feel energetically is most likely going to happen based on the current trajectory that you're on. And I also really love to offer the guidance that you perhaps need at this time that you don't have access to, where you can use that guidance to develop yourself so that you can manifest the outcomes you deeply desire. Okay. And this is important because it's important to have a desire. It's important to have a clear vision of what it is we want to create. This is all part of taking personal responsibility for our circumstances, right? We don't sit at home and wait for love to find us. We have to go put ourselves out there. We have to start dating. We have to start, opening our hearts and believing that we can make these connections. For example, we can't hope for, checks to fall out of the sky. We have to do the things we need to do to put ourselves out there, to look for work, to, apply ourselves in whatever particular vocation you're in. So we have to do the work. This is the radical self-responsibility piece. And once you've done all the things that you can do on a 3D level, you are, showing up, you're in integrity, you are getting clear about what it is that you want to create, you're 100% in, we call this being in alignment, right? Mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, in alignment with what you deeply desire. And then that is the point of surrender. Right. So once we get to that point where we've decided, okay, I've done absolutely everything I could possibly do, I have done my best, I have shown up fully, then we can surrender the how to the realm of the universe, because the how really has nothing to do with us. Okay. We can surrender, if you're manifesting, if you're deeply desiring an outcome, if there's things happening in your life that you don't love, don't feel good right now, I want you to look at letting go of your attachment to the outcome and just trusting that what's happening in your life, especially if you've shown up, right? If you've shown up fully, what's happening in your life is always going to serve your highest and best good, even if it's not the outcome that you want. Okay. And this is meant it's not meant to take the pressure off you or to remove the responsibility of showing up from you. It's meant to offer you some peace and some reassurance that regardless of our own human myopic view of what we think is best for us, there is a bigger plan here. There's always a greater purpose for the things that unfold in our lives and how they unfold in our lives. Okay. And this is very, very, very important, especially if you feel like you've done everything in your power and things are not working out the way you want them to. This can be very frustrating, can be very painful. We can feel abandoned by God or abandoned by source consciousness, or perhaps you stop believing in your spirit guides, or you stop believing in universal intelligence or the power that you have to manifest. Okay. We start to become bitter and riddled with self-doubt. And this is, it can happen. And so my advice to you, if this is you, is to recenter yourself and to really look at what's occurring in your life, even if it's disappointing, and start to ask yourself, how is this serving me? Right? It's serving one of two lessons. It's either serving you to see the situation in a different way. If you've done all the things, perhaps you have to see the outcome in a different way and actually see how this could be serving you. Even if it's not obvious today, it might be clear in the long term. And also, it can be a call to taking the actions that you didn't take. When I say you have to show up fully, we can't expect things to just happen to us, right? We have to take the steps that are necessary to have the life that we want. And so those are the one of two ways that human beings learn. We either learn, oh, I should have been more of this, or I could have done more of that. Or we say, I did everything I could have done. And obviously, this is the outcome that serves my highest and best good. Okay. And sometimes we do all the things that we need to do and we surrender the how. And what happens is exactly what we've deeply desired because we're in energetic alignment. But it's not because we did all the right things. It really isn't. it's because this is what's going to serve your highest and best good. Okay. There is a divine universal law that will always deliver the best possible outcome for all beings involved in whatever situation you're in. Okay, so it's really not about making things happen, okay, or conjuring up the energy or manifesting something specific because we alone are powerful. It's about aligning with our desires, doing the things that we need to do to align with this vision being made manifest, taking personal responsibility, and then trusting in the benevolence of the universe, the grace of the universe, and how the universe unfolds for us in service to our highest and best good. And this serves us and it serves all beings everywhere. So letting go of attachments can be really painful, but it's always the most profound lesson that we can, allow ourselves to experience as humans if we're willing. We're willing to go through it and we're willing to see the beauty in it. It can be highly, highly transformational. Okay, and that's my message for you tonight. Good. Thank you so much for hanging in there with me. I know we want to ask questions. So, Lacey, let's jump in to the first question. Hi, Elizabeth. Elizabeth says, hi, I would like to know, is there any other job I would like to know there are any other in job my future. Okay. So is there any job in my future? I'm guessing that's what that means. Okay. I'm going to answer this in two ways. So when I get a question that's about predicting an outcome, as I've just explained, I will talk about, what I feel energetically based on your current trajectory, based on the current hit I get in your field. And then I will give you the spiritual guidance on how to call this into your life. Okay. Which is what we've been talking about so far. So, Elizabeth. So, okay, the first thing I see is you kind of working either for friends or I want to say sort of, either under the table, or it's been like, referrals or a friend of a friend. It feels like there hasn't been stability in your income or in your job type of thing. So it feels like you've just been doing I want to say like little odd jobs here and there. Okay. It feels like it hasn't been stable. And perhaps there's been a lot of moving around as well. That's the first thing I feel when I tune into your energy. The other thing I want to say too is that that had to happen in order for you to get really clear on what it is that you want to do. Right. I don't want you to think about getting a job. I want you to think about what makes me happy. Okay. And I know that this is not perhaps the answer that you want. You can get a job. Of course you can get a job. That's the easy part. The difficult part is to find something that truly lights you up, that truly makes you happy, and that truly fulfills you, right? And that is stable. It's the stability that's missing in what you've been experiencing. And again, the sense of safety, right? I feel like there's also a lot of pressure on you to either take care of family or take care of other people as well. So, and of course, Elizabeth, if you can verify any of this information, please do. Okay. So, I want you to really take a step back. I know that it feels like there's a sense of urgency, but I want you to take a step back and really think about, what brings me joy? What can I do that will really light me up, that will really expand me and give me a sense of safety and groundedness. Okay. So these are all things that are necessary in your visualizations, in your manifestations. I do feel, again, it's kind of like friend of a friend. So there's still the same energy of somebody knows somebody who needs you for something or is looking for somebody. That's what it feels like, how it's unfolding for you. So stay open and make sure that your network, your community knows that you're looking for work and that you're and what your skills are. Okay, it's important that you share some of your skills as well. Yes, you are right about my family. Okay, good. So there's pressure to take care of them. So, again, and I know, because I know that you're in it right now, I want you to really focus on what can I do that's more long term, that's going to offer some stability. I actually think that it might be good for you to take a course, a class in something, perhaps something vocational, like a trade or something like that. That's what it feels like, something you've been considering as well. So I want you to really focus on, okay, what can I do to better my position versus just looking for a job? Okay, so there is something that you need to do to better your position in order to be able to make this happen. And again, I want you to think about what it is that's going to light you up, what it is that's going to make you happy. Okay, because going from job to job and kind of jumping around is not, this isn't sustainable for you or your nervous system. Okay, it's just not something that you can withstand in the long term. Okay, I feel like it's going to, I want to tell you that it's going to be okay, that I think that there's going to be a little back and forth. This might take a few months to resolve itself. And, yeah, I think that if you consider taking this course, it's almost like, yeah, it's like working with people or something like that. But there's some kind of class that you're considering taking that will actually improve your opportunity to get something that's long term, that creates more stability for you and your family. Okay, so that's my message for you tonight, Elizabeth. I hope that was helpful. My job actually became crazy. Yeah, so that's this instability perhaps that I'm picking up on, is you kind of like, it's kind of feels, all over the place. You want that long-term security. So I think, like I said, go back to, there's some kind of certification or some type of vocational thing that you can do in the short term that will actually put you, yeah, it will open up doors for you, and it will open up opportunities that are not available now. Okay, and leaning into your community and asking for support and letting people know that you're looking for work is going to be helpful for you as well. Okay, Elizabeth, thank you for being here. Hope that was helpful. Try that and let me know how that unfolds for you. Okay, Elizabeth, thank you. Hi, Jennifer. Jennifer says, hello, Sabrina. Hope all is well. I hope all is well with you too. I would just like to hear from my guides. Okay, things have turned topsy-turvy and I'm at a loss. I just don't know what I'm supposed to do anymore. Thank you. Okay, Jennifer, let's see what's going on. So it's interesting that you're asking this question, because tonight I'm talking about letting go of attachments. It's kind of perfect, because there's been a big attachment to the sale of this property, right? And a big attachment to, like, getting what you need and being, so that you can move on. And I feel like that's happening, but sometimes in our process we need to be willing to walk away from things in order for things to flow. My sense is, the first thing I hear is that this is coming around. The message is for you tonight, as much as it is for me and for anybody else watching, is to cut your losses and move on. Okay. And that doesn't mean you're going to lose. It just means you're letting go of being attached to things for now and just focusing on making the right choice for you. What's right for you in this moment? Okay. What's the next right thing for you to do? And you have no choice. You're in this situation, it feels like, where you have no choice but to make a move, but to move on, and but to let go of things. And I have this, it feels like there's an opportunity to go somewhere. Like, again, I always see this vision of you sort of in nature and far away from your current circumstances, somewhere kind of near the water, it looks like, and you're there. I don't know if you have dogs, but it feels like, yeah, there's animals where you're going, and you're in this place where you're just kind of decompressing and just trusting and letting things appear, letting things flow into your life. It's very profound what I'm experiencing, because it's like there's this whole vision that you had that's just not shaping up the way you thought it would, and that doesn't mean it isn't going to, but it's requiring a deeper level of surrender from you, a deeper level of surrender, a deeper letting go of attachments, and just developing that inner resource. I'm going to be okay no matter what happens. I'm going to be okay no matter how this unfolds. And that's really important for you to adopt that mindset, because there's this idea that you need this in order to have that, or you need this to happen a certain way in order to feel, relief or peace. And this is the final, it's the final obstacle for you, is to just let it go and watch what happens when you do that. It kind of creates momentum, think of a slingshot. Think of all the tension that gets created when you're pulling back and pulling back and pulling back and pulling back. And when you finally let go, there's momentum, right? That's what I see for you. And it's interesting because I have this vision of you sort of sitting by the water, kind of throwing rocks in the pond. I don't know if that's something you do or something you have done, or part of your routine when you're out in nature. But I want you to just focus on letting go of needing things to be a certain way and being open to seeing them from a different perspective. I think that'll be very, very helpful for you, and it will bring a lot of peace. Your guides are saying, trust us, just trust us. It's going to be okay. And the other thing that I want to caution you around is your environment a little bit. Some of these relationships are changing. Some of these people are falling out of your life. And it's okay. Again, letting them go, letting go of some of these people that you thought perhaps you could trust, or that turn out to be not who they say they are, and so on. I want you to be very vigilant who you align your energy with right now, because you're in a very intense period of transition. And so everything counts. Okay. Let me know if any of this resonates for you, as I am channeling on your behalf. And if not, you can always leave a comment on the video afterwards once you watch the replay. Okay. So Jennifer, that's my message for you tonight, is just let go and surrender, and just developing that inner resource that it's called equanimity, which is my favorite word in the English language. I'm okay if it is, and I'm okay if it's not. You've got to get to that point of, of inner peace. It all resonates. Okay, good. Beautiful. You need to get to that point of inner peace, just detach, and then things will start to move. Okay. So good. I'm glad that resonates for you. Jennifer, thank you for joining us, and come back and let me know how this unfolds for you. All right. Thank you so much. Beautiful. Hi, Anne. And says, hi, Sabrina. Can you tell me anything about my guides? Any messages for me? Thank you. Let me see. Who are your guides, Anne? I mean, there's a few animals around you. There's a dog, and there's a dog in life, and there's a dog in spirit. And I actually feel like you have quite a few people in the spirit realm that are around you, like immediate family members, and extended family. And it feels like there are people from overseas as well. So let me see here. There's a message coming through for you. There's for whatever reason, I don't know if you're connected to the Ukraine or not, but I can hear this part of the world, Ukraine, Eastern Europe, this part of the world. There's a strong, I want to say, past life connection to this area. And it feels, the reason this is coming through is because it feels like a lot of what you've been living has been sort of in the realm of feeling disconnected or isolated or suppressed, or, not being able to find yourself in your community, not being able to find like-minded people, and animals have always been sort of a safe space for you. And so, again, I feel like this is sort of coming through to encourage you to explore your roots, your ancestral roots a little bit more, so that you can understand yourself better. Okay, because there's a real sort of like feeling of being lost, or feeling of like not knowing who I am, or why I'm here, or what my purpose is. And so I want you to explore more about, your culture and where you came from, so that you can understand your lineage, your ancestry, and maybe even sort of revive some of those traditions from your ancestry, that will, and bring them to life in your everyday way of operating, so that it can sort of promote some creativity, some creative flow. You can find some community members, some like-minded people that are from your culture, that kind of thing. Because again, there's a need for community, a need for friendship, and understanding, seeing yourself in other people and feeling like you're being understood by them is important for you at this time. Okay. um yeah, and there's two dogs. There's one in spirit and there's one in life, and they're kind of like around you, sort of. It's kind of like they're shepherding you, and I don't know if one of them was a shepherd breed, but when there's like kind of shepherding you and sort of guiding you to create more community, to be more out in the world, and to make friends, to open up your heart and not be afraid to connect and make yourself vulnerable in these connections. Okay, this is going to be very important for you as the next few months are coming around. And communication is important. There's a lot of communication messages coming through in my readings lately, especially because of the shift in Gemini. And so it's a lot about like, exchanging of ideas and how we communicate, and needing to express ourselves. Okay. And so that's my message for you tonight. I hope that resonates for you. And we'll see. Okay. Come back and let me know. Hi, Laura. Laura says, hi, Sabrina. Brendan left me in the dark. He won't say if he's decided to break up with me, or if he plans to come back. It's been 9 days of silence. What should I expect? Thank you. Okay. I think you can expect more of the same. That's the first thing I want to say here in terms of what I'm feeling energetically for you. Okay. So this is a sort of an ongoing, sort of back and forth saying, um, it's kind of who he is right now. It's how he's choosing to show up. And I would love to see you not be waiting around for this person to decide whether or not they want to come back for you. Yeah, I mean, the first thing, it's the second time he pulls this on me. Yeah, it feels like it. I mean, I can, it's not going to be the last. I'll put it that way. So, um, I think that it's important for you to really focus on, the kind of love that you want to manifest in your life, like focusing on the relationship with self, focusing on self-esteem, focusing on, you know, I want you to raise your standards. This is a wound you have, that why you're drawing this in. I want you to look at the relationship with the masculine, relationship with dad, relationship with men in general. And there's some kind of unconscious pattern around feeling unworthy, or being abandoned, right? And so it's very traumatic when someone you love and are intimately connected with and emotionally bonded with is all of a sudden disappearing and won't speak to you. And this is a deep wound, and it's a wound that comes from childhood. This is not a new thing. Brandon is kind of coming along, and he's poking at something that's been there for a really long time. And this is true for all our triggers. Whenever we're triggered by something, or something takes us out, or something disempowers us, we're not all of a sudden feeling feelings about it. Well, these feelings have always been there, and now the event is triggering the process to heal these feelings, to heal the pattern once and for all. So you're being called, Laura, not to engage or disengage with this guy. This is not, the question isn't really not about this guy, because this guy is inconsequential. He's not really someone that you can build a life with. He's not this is not a soul connection. It's more of a trauma bond, it feels like. And that's because there's trauma here for you to heal and for you to really look into, as far as how you want to be treated in relationships and what you're going to put up with, the kind of frequency that you're going to hold for yourself in loving partnership, so that you're attracting people who want what you want, who share your values, and who are going to treat you with respect. Okay. So what you can expect from him is more of the same. That's just directly to answer your question. And in the meantime, if you hold that boundary and you really focus in on yourself and you focus in on, yes, there is, I'm assuming you're validating the trauma. So good. So that's the work, right? Really look up, focus in on that, focus in on the wound, focus in on your, focus in on, the part of you that really wants to be loved, right? That really needs to be loved, that is afraid of being abandoned, and choosing to not abandon her in these moments, right? He is in his 50s, not a teen. He is, yeah, I mean, that's irrelevant. It doesn't matter how old he is. The point is that he's serving a very important purpose in your life. He's triggering a wound that is there for you to heal. It's there for you to really take responsibility for. Okay. So I wouldn't focus too much on him. It's not like, like I said, this is just who he is. Right? And I said that at the beginning. It's not going to change. The thing with the person that needs to change here is you, as far as looking at your, why you're allowing this into your life and what it is that you can heal within yourself to create new types of relationships, to attract different type of partnerships in your life. Okay. That's my message for you, Laura. Okay. And I'm sending you so much love and empathy. I know it's hard, especially when we get our hearts broken and we feel like we're being mistreated and we want what we want. We want what we want, and we get attached, and it's painful when we don't get what we want, as I said in the beginning. And it's so important to look at why it is that we want what we want, what we think it's going to serve in us. What is it that we think we're going to feel if we get what we want, and practice cultivating those feelings for yourself. That's going to give you freedom. It's going to give you perspective. It's going to make it less, it's going to make it easier for you to let go of this attachment. You'll be less concerned about what he's doing and what he's going to do, or how old he is, or what he's doing, or how he's living his life, and more focused on you and the choices that you're making. Okay. Yeah, you're very welcome, Laura. It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. And for anyone listening, if you are struggling with some deep childhood wounds, these are patterns that are reoccurring. Our childhood sets us up for limiting, it sets up our limiting beliefs. It sets us up for the reoccurrence of these patterns, that we lived in our childhood experience. And the only way out of this prison of our programming is by doing deep, deep inner work, deep inner child work, really recognizing our patterns and recognizing our pain, so that we can shift out of there. Okay. And so for those of you that want to come, Laura says, I keep dating the same person in different bodies. Yes. Beautiful awareness. Yes, beautiful awareness. And that's going to keep happening. The reason you keep dating the same person in different bodies, and we've all been there and we've all done it, is because you have an unconscious belief in place that keeps attracting these relationships, so that you can re-experience the pain of them over and over again until you decide to take 100% responsibility for you, for your conditioning, for how you show up, and for what you're attracting into your life. When you change your beliefs about who you are, what you're worth, what you can have, how you want to be loved, everything will change. Okay. But it has to start with deep inner work. Okay. And so we'll put the link here at the end, or perhaps, Lacey, if you have it handy now, there's a link here to come and work with me one-on-one. You can book a 1-hour session. We can start there. But I would highly recommend doing some deep inner child work. There is the link to book a one-on-one with me. You can come and chat with me. We can talk about how to really heal from a lot of this early childhood trauma and conditioned beliefs that are setting you up for these destructive relationships. Okay. So there you go. There's the link, and we'd love to see you, Laura. All right. Let me know how that unfolds for you. No to this guy, shut the door on it, set the boundary. Okay. Beautiful. Hi, Experiment. Hello. Nice to see you. Hi, Diane. Hello, dear Sabrina. Aura and I are listening in. Oh, it's so nice to see you. Thank you for being here. Hello, hello, hello. Hi, community. Hello. Hi, everybody. It's good to see you all. Beautiful. Shiloh says, hi, Shiloh. Hi, Shiloh says, hi, beauty. My meeting is at 2:30 tomorrow. Anything I need to know? Is this man genuine? Okay. So here's what I want to say to you, Shiloh. There is always because of early childhood trauma, and again, I'm talking about childhood, so bear with me. Just this is what's coming through tonight because I introduced the topic of letting go of attachments. Naturally, we're talking about letting go of childhood trauma. So this is normal, and it's the trajectory that I set us on for tonight, which is powerful because we need this work in order to really create the lives that we want. So I'm going to answer your question here in a moment. Part of what's going on, Shiloh, is that there is a deep belief that that people aren't who they say they are, that people are not trustworthy, right? That you're somehow going to get betrayed or screwed over, pardon my language, but that's the energy that's coming through. And so that belief actually is creating some hindrance in your life. Okay. I want you to go into this call tomorrow. First of all, they already really like you. There's already a very positive vibe around your energy, around how you've been received. There's a lot of I want to say you impressed this person, whoever it is that you're talking to tomorrow. And so you've conveyed your value. Okay. And you're very good at that. You're very good at conveying your value. And yet on an unconscious level, there's a part of you that's like, can I trust this? Right. Like sort of, there's a fear of being let down. And that fear of being let down is going to keep accumulating the evidence that you're going to be let down, or you're going to be betrayed, or you're going to be somehow like dumbfounded by the outcome. Okay. So I'm talking directly to you. And of course, anybody who's listening, who's attached to an outcome, I want you to let go and not be guarded. It's okay. If you've done everything in your power to create the life that you want, if you've shown up in full 100% responsibility, I want, especially, and this is, I'm just tuning into your energy, Shiloh. Like, I want you to go in with an open heart and an open mind. Like, I want you to believe that the person is genuine. You have no reason to believe that they're not. I want you to not be concerned about, and I know that you have evidence in your past of having either worked for people who are out of integrity, or dealt with the masculine energy that's out of integrity, or that's been hurtful, that's betrayed you, that's let you down. That's all valid. I'm not diminishing the pain of that, but we can't allow that to inform our perspective, to limit our view of what's possible when we meet new people and we create new relationships. Okay, so you want to forgive and forget and let go and move on and create an open-minded, open-hearted way of approaching these meetings that you're going into. Okay. This is of course work related. We're talking about work, but we're not just talking about work. We're also talking about all relationships, especially with men. Okay. So my message for you tonight is, this is what I want you to know. I want you to go in with an open heart and just a belief that this person is genuine and this person actually sees your value and has your best interest at heart. Be willing to make friends, right? To trust that this person has good intentions. Okay. I want you to create that context. And when you choose to see a benevolent world, the world reflects benevolence back. All right. So I want you to really focus in on that for tonight. And of course, if I felt like there was a need for caution or a need for, I would tell you. All right. So there isn't. This is now your opportunity to let go of the past and move into a new identity. Somebody who gets what she wants, who gets what she deeply deserves and desires because she's done the work, and who is met there, who is met at that point of being seen and valued and recognized for your efforts. Okay. That's my message for you, Shiloh. I know I gave you a whole bunch, probably more than you anticipated, but that's my message for you. Okay. Hi, experiment. Okay, so experiment says, my partner and I adored each other and we were inseparable. The relationship was new but amazing. They usually are when they're new. A month ago, something drastically changed, like a light switch. What's going on with him? Okay, experiment. I love these questions tonight because they all really kind of feed into letting go of the topic that I introduced at the beginning. So, it feels like familiar energy to the other person that I just channeled for. This is a pattern for him. When I tune into his energy, actually, it feels like there's something in his field, either some kind of disturbance, energetic disturbance. It can be a mood altering substance. It can be but there's an imbalance in this person's energy. Okay. It kind of up and down. And so, this is something that he does. He kind of like comes in hot and then you know it detaches, and it's nothing that you did. It's not your fault. It's not something you created. The first thing I want to say to you is that this is not, you know this has nothing to do with you. And it can be tough in these type of situations to not take it personally, to not think like, okay, well, what did I do, like, you know what happened, and to feel shocked by it. Okay, so this is again he takes prescription drugs. Maybe that's the same. Yeah. Okay, good. So I feel it. I feel uh, the chemicals in his field. Okay. And I think they're messing with him. I really do. And I'm not sure what type of drug he's taking or why he's taking it. And sometimes prescription drugs can have adverse side effects. But I feel like there is more to this person than you know about. There's a lot more to be discovered here. It doesn't feel, it feels like it's best for you to pull back at this time, even for your own safety, like emotional safety. I don't think you're in any physical danger, but in emotional safety, to just pull back and set some proper boundaries so that you're not trying to guess exactly. I was wondering what was wrong with me in his eyes. Okay, good. Yeah. I mean, nothing is wrong with you. It's this person is really freaked out, like on a soul level. And I don't even think he's conscious of it. He's really out of his skin. Like he's not fully integrated in whatever happened to him in his life, in his childhood. Like there is something very deep and very profound that touched this man when he was very young, and he hasn't dealt with it, and it's creating all kinds of physical symptoms. And so when he gets close to someone, and this is true for anybody with deep unresolved trauma, when they get close to someone, that gets triggered, and it wreaks all kinds of havoc, and it can create very strange behaviors. And so, it's not like, oh, this was a progressive thing. It feels like, it literally from one day to the next kind of flipped on you. And so this is a huge red flag. Okay. And there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing that you did. And the more anxiously attached you are to this, the more you hold on and try to figure out and get explanation and try to, understand what's going on. The more entangled you get in his energy. I would love to see you just create a real energetic boundary here and just let him, deal with his, yes, it was out of the blue. Yeah. Okay. So I feel that. And this is a shock, no progression. Okay, good. So this is a shock. And this is not healthy for you. I would tell you, I've said it to people, like, I feel like there's work that can be done, or, there's real love here, and there's a possibility. I actually, will sort of stand by my word on this for you. Like, I think it's really important for you to draw a hard line in the sand and just say, you know what, we had a great time. Thank you so much. And it was lovely. And I learned so much about myself. And, I'm so grateful for this experience. And I think it's best that we part ways, really draw that boundary. There's so much more to this person that that you don't know about, that needs to be revealed. And it's going to, yes, after a meaningless argument. Yeah. So it's not the argument. It's whatever that argument triggered in him. It created this massive sort of, and this is what I was talking about before, we're not all of a sudden triggered or reactive, right? This is not something that happens in the moment. Especially when it's a huge reaction, it's usually a little thing that will come along and sort of point at a wound that's been there our whole lives. Okay. Pardon me. So, it's important that that you recognize that this is not something you can fix or work on with this person. It's really something that I want you to focus in on yourself, and focus in on really in making sure that whoever it is that you meet, it feels like you got really caught up in this. And, of course, we've all been there. So I want you to give yourself some grace. She says, ouch, I adore him. Yeah, I hear you. But, you don't fully know him. You don't fully know him. And I don't think, yeah, I think that if you actually sit down to look at what it is about this relationship, what it is that inspired you, or what it is that you fell in love with, you'll notice that there's not a lot of sustainable qualities there. Okay. Unfortunately, I don't like to be right about these things, but unfortunately, I don't see that there is a way to fully rectify this. I think that it's going to be an ongoing pattern of him kind of being on and off. Okay. So yeah. And, I'm going to leave it to you to decide if it's acceptable to be treated in this way. Like, we can, even if I said, oh, I see him coming back, like, is that something that you want in your life, is to be in this unpredictable situation? It literally feels like, the analogy I'm getting is like walking through a minefield. All of a sudden there's like an explosion, and then there's peace, and then there's another explosion, right? And so this is what it feels like. So this is what I'm seeing for you. So I would really recommend draw a hard line in the sand, energetic boundary, really focusing in on yourself, and the part of you that kind of jumped right in without fully discerning if this person was someone who brought safety and stability and compatibility into your life. That's the analogy I always use. There you go. That's part of the reason why it was coming through for me, right? So sometimes, most of the time, it's not my words, right? So yeah. So this is my guidance for you tonight, and I would love for you to do some inner work, and really, look at some of your unconscious beliefs and why you might be manifesting this type of thing in your life, and come back and let me know how this unfolds for you. Okay. Do I feel he's angry? No, I don't feel he's angry with you at all. I think he's angry, but I don't think it has anything to do with you. Good. All right. We'll see you soon. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. All right. Next question. Hi, Daniela. Daniela says, hi, Sabrina. What do I need to know? I have some anxiety about what's next. And speaking of attachments, okay, good. The people pleaser in me makes it hard to end friendships that simply aren't right. Any advice? Yeah. Okay. Yes, I have so much advice for you. Okay. So what do you need to know? So this is a beautiful question that I'm going to answer in this particular way. Okay. So first of all, I can feel the anxious attachment style and the people pleaser, and I can feel all that energy just by tuning into you and your question, and I actually think that there is a lot of over giving and overextending that you do that's really unhealthy for you. And you already know what I'm talking about. So, so it's important for you to pull back and stop doing that. Part of the reason why it's hard for you to do that, and you go into fear and you're afraid of love being withheld, or creating conflict, or upsetting people, again, there's another sort of similar abandonment wound that we've been talking about tonight. I want you to really look at that on a deep level. Like, there's a real fear of being abandoned, and this is the anxiousness. And the remedy for feeling alone and not being sure what to do, feeling disconnected, feeling like we're anxious about what's going to happen, is a relationship with your higher self, a relationship with source consciousness. So I would advocate for you, and for anybody watching, of course I talk about this every week, you need to develop a spiritual practice. So a practice that's going to allow you to create some inner stillness. It can be 5 to 10 minutes every day of deep diaphragmatic breathing in and out of the diaphragm, expanding the belly out and letting it drop naturally, in and out of the diaphragm. Yes. Okay, good. So in and out of the diaphragm is going to help you ground, regulate your nervous system, land in your body, open your heart, relax, and just start to move out of anxiety. The diaphragmatic breath is the antidote for anxiety. It's the 100% natural prescription-free antidote. And so practicing the diaphragmatic breathing is going to connect you. I've actually been trying to connect with my higher self. Good, beautiful. So we're on the same page. So opening yourself up to your higher self and developing a spiritual practice, you would be amazed at the amount of support, guidance, connection. You'll start to feel your spirit guides. You'll start to feel your spirit team. You'll start to connect with your loved ones. You'll start to feel, you'll start to receive signs. Okay. It's really important. Human beings that are stuck in 3D consciousness, those of us that are trapped in our conditioning from early childhood, it's impossible to feel connected and supported. It's impossible to not feel anxious and worried about the future. It's impossible to not regret the past or feel bitter about your circumstances, because that is all that's available in that realm. Okay. It's when we start to practice spirituality and start to connect with something bigger than us outside of our conditioning. We do the inner work to heal, to come out of our conditioned self, our trauma, our limiting beliefs. And we start, connecting with spirit, connecting with our higher self, connecting with the love that we are, the unconditional love that is the essence of who we are. And we can start to really feel supported, right? You can spend, a time alone in nature and feel like you're connected to all of creation, right? And so this is my wish for you, and it's my wish for all beings everywhere. And I can relate to this, having felt very lonely for a long time when I was stuck in my 3D consciousness. When I came online, I felt connected to universal intelligence, and it took some work. It takes a spiritual practice. This is what I want for you. I want you to start to connect with your higher self and start to call in your guides, especially for you. It's interesting because, there's and I don't really do mediumship work on YouTube. I have classes for that. But there's like sort of this grandmother energy that's kind of hanging around you. It's been sort of trying to tap you on the shoulder and call and say, lean in to me, like lean into, your culture. There's something about your culture. There's something about, yeah, there's just something reassurance, some reassurance there in your family, extended family, that wants to come in and sort of be part of your practice. It's kind of like my Nona. I feel her. Okay, good, beautiful. And it's interesting that I felt Italian too. So it's something like yeah, and again, it's around cooking food and making things. And I don't know if this is something that you do a lot lately. Okay, good. Well, she wants to talk to you. When our spirit guides are right there, when our loved ones or our ancestors are always around us. This is true for you. It's true for everybody. If you have someone in the spirit realm, they want to give you a message. They want to connect with you. They want to guide us. They see when people cross over, the ego dissolves, the personality dissolves, and they, they merge into source consciousness. They become an extension of this unconditional love that is all of creation. And that love wants to find its way into your life. It has messages for you. It has guidance for you. It wants to participate. It wants to infuse your awareness with little hints about what you should do along the way, what's going to serve your highest and best good. And it's important for you to connect to your culture. It's important for you, this is the second time I say this tonight, to connect to your roots and connect to your heritage. There's some more of embodying that and letting that in, making it more of your identity that you could do. Okay. And this will help you come out of fear. It will help you come out of anxiety. It's interesting because anxiety is not a real feeling. Okay. And I say this, hear me out. I don't want to invalidate you if you're feeling anxious, but anxiety is really kind of like a cork in a bottle. The body creates anxiety kind of like a systemic response when it doesn't want to feel the deeper unresolved emotions. It doesn't want to go into the deeper pain, into the deeper fear, into the deeper wounds that you're not giving yourself permission to process. And so many of us don't, right? We don't take that stillness. So I want you to practice the diaphragmatic breathing and develop a spiritual practice and start to connect with her. Okay. For anyone, by the way, who wants to learn how to channel, how to read energy, how to develop their intuition, how to connect with their loved ones, whether it's personal mediumship or mediumship for others, I have a class that starts on June 21. Lacey, maybe you can post the link for that now. We usually do that at the end, but I'll post it here. Good. Danielle says, I agree with you. Good. There is the link for the Way of the Mystic. If you want to learn how to connect with your loved ones, this is such an amazing class. It's an 8-week program. It's a small community of loving, like-minded souls. There's no judgment. It's all skill levels, even if you've never done this work before. It's interesting, Daniela, because in your lineage I want to say, there's a strong thread of spirituality, right? I think it's important for you to sort of connect with your grandma and connect with her and see what she has to say and how she's trying to communicate with you. This was so reassuring. Thank you. Okay, beautiful. I love that. Thank you for being here. Wonderful. And we hope to see you in the class, so you can come in and learn how to connect with your Nona and all of your loved ones. Beautiful. So it's so empowering for us to connect to this experience of everlasting love, of, our spirit guides, and developing a connection with source consciousness. This brings us out of loneliness, out of disconnection, out of feeling like, it's just me in the world trying to figure it out. We're not alone, right? We are all so fundamentally loved and supported every step of the way. This is my deepest wish for all beings everywhere, is to feel this on a profound level, that you are never alone. You have support, whether it's your pets, your loved ones, your guides, your ancestors, your archangels, whoever. And again, that's going to depend on you and your karma and your past life experience and so on, and what you allow into your life. But we all have so much support that we can lean into and allow us to sort of transcend this very stuck, trapped 3D way of operating, so we can move out of fear and into knowing and trusting and listening to the voice of our intuition, which is the whisper of your higher self, which is the echoes of all your spirit team. Okay, beautiful. Oh, we love you. I love you too, Bo. Thank you so much. Beautiful. All right. We have time for one more question if there are. Hi, Rhonda. Hi, Sabrina. I'm back to report that I saw my, I guess that's primary care practitioner today, or primary care physician, to let him know that I'm not interested in any surgeries. Yay! Because I'm too awesome. He agrees. After Sunday soul session, I'm on a journey of what's next. What's next of? Is there more? I want to know what journey you're on, Rhonda. Tell me more. Self-healing. Thank you. Beautiful. I love it. I love it. I love it. This is so good. Every cell in my body is dancing and celebrating on your behalf. I'm so grateful to hear that you're taking that advice and that you are taking 100% responsibility and really showing up for yourself. And that's what we've been talking about tonight, is how, when do I let go of an attachment? What does it mean to let go of an attachment? When is it appropriate? Once we've done the work and we know we're 100% responsible for the quality of our experience, mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually. I've got my practice. I'm taking care of my body. I'm choosing, the positive beliefs. I'm making, the right action. I'm taking the right actions. I'm working through my unresolved emotions to find inner peace as best as I humanly can. When I've done the thing and I've visualized the thing and I've created the thing, and now it's time to let go of my attachment and to trust that all is unfolding for my highest and best good. And it always is. Even if you're in a point in your life where it feels hard and it feels like you're stuck, or it feels like you've been abandoned, or it feels like, things are just not working out the way you want them to, take this opportunity to really examine yourself and examine, the learning, the lesson that might be presenting itself here, and what you can do to really integrate that, and really trust that if you take those steps and surrender, as I've mentioned tonight, that everything is going to work out exactly the way it's supposed to be, even if it's not exactly how you thought. Okay, but it will be exactly what you need. All right, and that's true for me, and it's true for everybody. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. It was so fun. I always have such a good time with you. Thank you for my returning community members. It's good to see you. We have some news. So I created a membership option for YouTube. You can join my channel now, which is a big deal. You can join, and if you join, there are 3 levels of membership. If you join, well, you can read about it once you hit join, but in the 3rd level of membership, there is 2 classes per month that are happening exclusively for members. There's a mediumship circle. So whenever you come to my mediumship circles, everybody's guaranteed a connection. So that's included in the membership. And then there's also a once a month psychic circle. So we would connect on a different platform where we can see each other and interact, and I can channel a little more deeply for you. Okay. And there's some other exclusive content that's only available for members. So check it out. Click join the channel for a membership experience and for access to exclusive content, which I'm very excited to create with you. Okay. And again, there's the Way of the Mystic, which is an opportunity to learn how to channel and connect with your loved ones and connect with your guides, and to develop your own intuitive abilities, to develop a relationship with spirit. There's the link for that. That's called the Way of the Mystic. If you join before May 30th, I say we have 2 days left. The coupon code at checkout is Mystic Student. So if you join before May 30th, you get a 25% off. You just put Mystic Student in the checkout. And we'll post that here at the end. There you go. There's the coupon code. Thank you, Lacey. And so jump on that, because May 30th is in 2 days, and this will give you 25% off. This is a loving, supportive community. It's 8 weeks. We meet once a week for an hour over Zoom, maybe 90 minutes, depending on how far we go. And there is a group discussion as well. So you have ongoing support, daily support. I'm in there, every night, basically just supporting members with their practice and developing their practice. Okay, so check out the link there. And for those of you that want to just jump in and have a one-on-one reading with me, if you want an hour of my undivided attention, I would love to go deeper with you and channel spirit on your behalf. You can check out the readings link. It's right there, and book your psychic reading or your mediumship reading today. And I'd love to see you. Okay, so we'll see you again on Sunday night. I'm here Wednesdays and Sundays at 5 p.m. Pacific. It's so good to be with you all. Sending so much love. Bye for now.